Promotions.
I would like to take this opportunity to talk to the general public not to give alms.
Yes.
If it is not lucrative, they will look for something better to do. They will look for a better means of livelihood. Please don't give alms to beggars, especially the ones with children. They are exploiting these children. It is against the child rights law in Lagos State. So I just urge the general public not to give alms to beggars.
To buttress what she's saying, you find out that some of these beggars, if it's not even just them, you find out that when you look at something like Thursday, Fridays, you see that some of these big rich people will package things, will take mint. It could be 100 naira mint, and then I wouldn't know, maybe for prayers or something, and they go out there. It's not even only in Okobaba. When you go to Agege, you can't enter there. No matter who you are, you can't, because they have leaders and all of that. And this one will say, I'm the one that is heading these beggars. I'm the one that is doing this and all of that. So for you to even bring in anything, you have to go through. And then you see that by the time we started going to that, when we went to that Okobaba, that we found out from attending to one abuse case, we saw so many, and everybody was like, God bless you, ma, you came and all of that. One, I couldn't stand there because I never knew anything like that existed. And then and I found out that those people who are there, they enjoy that kind of life. It's not all of them that came from the north. Some of them, because they couldn't afford their rent, so they came there. In fact, there's a particular woman who said that, they took away my shop from me, so my husband brought me there. I said, so your husband brought you to this place? She said, yes. And I said, are you making it here now? She said, at least it's better than not doing anything. And like that. Then you find out those ones who are beggars. And the person will tell me, one of the guys told me, said that kiosk where they did, and me get them. I put somebody there. So I get like 3 kiosks.
Yes.
Do you understand?
It's a full community.
Yes, so that's why I wanted to buttress what Wemimo said, whether we are going to be legalizing. And then I said that each time I go to borrow all my 50 naira and everything, those boss people, they will pay me some, like when you go to party and you have to pay some amount to get it.
Oh, so they have a bureau de change.
Yes. So all the 10 naira, 20 naira, and you say as a pack now, if you want 1,000 naira, you go give this amount, then you go, and they have business sense. So, but if Lagos State can now transmit that or translate that or change that into something that is positive, if with their being uneducated, with the kind of shallow life and everything that is happening there, that is not of their own make, because Lagos State is trying. I deal with the Ministry of Youth and Sport. My foundation work with them. I can imagine how many children will bring. You will see some women that are selling paraga. In fact, there was a day we came, my people brought a woman with 3-month-old baby, and one was 5, and the second one was 3. And the woman broke the head of the 5-year-old because she lost one of her slippers that she suffered and paid. She was doing paraga. So when I investigated and I found, I said, what about your husband? She said, my husband is selling Igbo and he's in prison. And then they said he's going to take like about how many years before he comes out. And I'm the only one struggling. And then I will, So, and then we discovered that the woman will lock those children by 5 p.m. and goes to tell paraga with the 3-month-old and come back in the morning. Then she will now come and open the door for them. So by the time I just couldn't stand all of that, knowing fully well that the husband is, I said, so you are selling paraga, your husband is selling Igbo. I said, okay. So so we send them to allow youth and sport. I was surprised because I felt like, okay, maybe they would take the 2 other one, the 5 and the 3, But I was surprised. The youth and sport said no. They took even the 3-month-old baby.
Yeah,
we do that. That is for you to know how thorough they are. So, and then you can imagine, not just from Okobaba now, everywhere in Lagos, there's issues, Ikorodu, we bombard them. So when you find out that a state that has been earmarked, like maybe other states spend like 300,000 for their youth and sport, and Lagos State is doing 1.5, and yet you can't, because of the kind of everywhere there is problem in any other state, they are coming to Lagos and all of that. But we are still thinking as NGOs that there still should be a way that government will enforce it. But if I tell you they are difficult people, they will not want you to break into them. They will see you immediately. You are coming, you are an enemy of soul.
Mrs. Jayola, during the break, we talked about how difficult it is because of their culture and way of life of the people in that camp. And I'm wondering, how is this being difficult for the state government? Because the law is superior to any culture or any way of life.
Yes. I think it's only the law that we can use.
So who is supposed to enforce the law in this instance?
That's it. We want to make it more stringent, so that that's what my peer said, that maybe we should try and make it more stringent. Like that 30,000 is easy for them to pay. Maybe it should be increased, and some other things, so that we stop this act of begging and everything, because they've turned it to form.
Do they have? It would be. I anticipate that it will become livelihood. Like I said earlier, about 50. It shouldn't, but it naturally would. Do they have skills? Are there other things they can do? Unemployment rate is high for those who have even gone to school.
It's high enough.
It's high. People are poor. They need to live. They need to survive. So they would make a livelihood out of it. But the government, like I said earlier, owes a responsibility to the citizens to ensure that they have good standard of living. This would include transforming them from being beggars into having,
In fact, we need to change their cognitive reasoning.
How do you do that?
That's part of what we are doing, to tell them that you have to learn something. If you cannot go to school, you learn something, a vocation.
Are there centers in that community or around there where they could go to?
We have a center we have a center, but I think we need to do more sensitization.
Okay.
That if your children cannot go to school, you have to learn a skill, a vocation, so that maybe through that. But the problem we have that they are so used to this begging, and
so are we going to leave them this way?
we are working. We rescue them off the streets. We sensitize them on the ills of begging. Even, and if they want, the security threats, and the way they come to Lagos and everything. So we are do more sensitization to ensure that we change their reasoning.
Has it helped, this sensitization that the state government has done? Has it helped in any way? Have you felt the impact of sensitization?
Because the problem we have is that this influx is the problem.
The environment is overflooded.
Yes,
that's the problem.
Influx.
You find people lying the corridors with their beds. In the rooms, you find too many people. The bathrooms are not just it. They don't have anything working there. So even if you send them to learn one thing or the other, or they go to school, the moment they get back to that environment, their orientation changes from what they learned from outside, and they live the lifestyle of inside that place. They have a lot of problems. Challenges are there, and the only person, or the only, apart from NGOs and media people, is government. To me, if government says no to something, definitely no one can go against.
Let me tell you why she's correct. Remember that Oshodi used to be a mess.
Thank you.
Right. When government decided to enforce that Oshodi was going to be a sane place and people were not going to be selling on the road, right now, bikes, when the government was going to clamp down on motorcycles on the highway, on the expressway, it was done. So do we see the will of the government to actually take these people from this camp meant for 300 people, and we have 10,000 people living here? There could be an outbreak of diseases. Ebola is here. You have so many contagious diseases. And if we have an epidemic on our hands, then we'll be spending more than we would rather have spent now.
Right.
Yeah, definitely government is always looking for ways to improve, especially to improve the lot of the vulnerable. And these people are in the group of the vulnerable. As the director said, we are doing sensitization, trying to change their mindset. But one thing I would like to say, I want to talk to what Mrs. Benson said. We have the well-to-do in our society who go there, give them meat, give them food and everything. I think we should actually start to talk to people who have the means to give to these people, not to go to the streets to give them, but to find a structured way of giving their donations in such a way that the donations will be given to them to improve their lot, instead of just giving them handouts. They're giving them handouts. They're giving them fish, but they're not teaching them how to fish.
Isn't that the job of the government?
The teaching
are
to
you
fish.
transferring?
Yes, we do. We have empowerment, as the director said. We have empowerment programs, but these people, they because of their culture, they are not interested. It's much easier for them to sit and beg and collect money.
Sheriff, you know what I'm going to say to
yes,
this? I remember that when Mrs. Lola Dini of the domestic violence came on board, the rate of domestic violence was high, but there was something she did. In fact, like every 3 months, there's always meetings. And what she did, she identified the NGOs that work
with them.
Yes. And then they have a directory in Lagos now that if you click it, you will see all the NGOs that does anything that has to do with domestic violence, girl child, and all of that. Right. And so when there is anything happening, you want to know in that group, this person is handling domestic violence on this beat. Right. So when there's a case on that beat, you know where you're pushing it to. So right. It made us to achieve a lot. Now the youth and sport may be doing so much, but they are doing it all by themselves. There are NGOs that work there. There's this lady they call Tolulokpe Shongosonya or something. She works so hard, she trains them, she does that all by herself. Right. So if there's an empowerment somewhere, if there's a support that kind of a woman gets, I don't think there's anybody that will tell you more about that Okobaba than that kind of person. Right. People like us that go there, people like us that handle cases, if the youth and sport has a group of foundations that does that. Now, when you get to that place, you will see that one side is for the elite. Which people are there? You will see the kind of edifice, kind of cars that come out from there. And then you look at the other side and you see poverty. You will see people that didn't...
Aren't we breeding criminals? I mean, if you see affluence on one side and there's absolute poverty on the other.
So why would they not jump over? Why would they not maim? Why would they not do something? But if we have the youth and sport coming around their sensitization, we have like 10, 15 NGOs that they know those people, right. They work with them and all of that. Now, when we went there the first time, they wanted money. They weren't going to talk to us. But when they understood what we were coming to give them, they became our friend. We became their friend and all of that. Now, they will be in the office. We are always in the field there. We see things, we hear things, we bring things. And that's why when I come to Alausa, I breathe down on anybody. I say, you don't understand what it is that
going on.
You are under the sun, you are under the rain, and then you sit in the AC office and tell me I do not have to be involved in the case I brought. Hell no. And like that. So if they do that, I'm telling you that stipend or that money that has been allocated, we get, because those rich people do not go on the street. They drive their car, immediately they park. Those people start rushing down because they know what they came for. Just like when they will see me walking in and they're like, they see a funke and they're like, no, we're not going to talk. What did you bring for us? Because they're poor. Because they don't. That's the only way they know how to.
Let's head to the phones and get in some comments. I know the phone lines have been buzzing. There are comments also on Facebook, and we'll be reading all of them. If you're just listening, we're looking at live in Destitute camps, focusing on the story done by Funke Fayemi of Vaughan, Voice of Nigeria, about life of girls in Destitute camps. Here are the phone numbers. You can join us now.
Call us on 01-277-0993, 01-277-1993, 01-277-2993, and 01-277-3993. This is Nigeria Info. We are listening.
Nigeria Info, we are listening. Let's first take Ijeoma Esek, who's standing by right now at the Destitute camp. Ijeoma, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Wemimo.
Morning. Quite a noisy place. Tell us what the Destitute camp is. Footage is on Facebook already, but tell us what you gathered.
Okay, as you can see, I'm in front of the Destitute home in Okobaba, Ebute Metta. And right here, you have several people living here. According to information that I've gathered, we have 8 blocks of buildings here, and the 8 blocks of buildings have 22 houses, 22 rooms in it. So now I have with me the secretary of the community and the president, Association of but we are going to be speaking live with we're going to be speaking live with one of the leaders here. His name is Seiki Amadu Abubakar, who is the chairman of People Association of Lagos State. So he's going to be talking to us on their plight and why they've decided to remain here, the fact that lots of people has come to their aid. As you can see the people around here, you can see them. So now we are going to be talking to Seriki Abubakar. Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Live, the video is up there. You can see it right now. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, so good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you tell us, can you introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I speak Hausa.
Yes.
Huh?
Go on, but if you speak in English, because broken English, okay, how you doing?
Yeah, I did fine, madam.
So tell me, how many people there here?
And the people did Grils like 4,000, man and woman, children and children.
You don't say well, I don't get for this place.
I don't think.
I just say now former military governor, Buba
Marwa, yeah. Nahim.
And then when I look at, we don't reach 22 years old a day.
Yes.
So tell me, how life there for this place?
Alhamdulillah, I did okay. I thank God why I did it, but no worry, no whatever I can worry people like it before why I did for outside. You know, before now for Kano City I did for Kano City. So Uba Marwa he called for Governor Lagos. He called see my people there. He said this is no good. Why I can leave people for a million like this? Anything can happen. Now you can beat the house to parking old billboard for here.
Okay, can you speak louder?
Yeah.
Speak up.
Hausa.
Speak up.
Okay. So I don't take for here. I'm telling you, saying Abuba Marwa a big that place. Like 22 years now I did there. So Alhamdulillah, I thank God. But can we go to school many for secondary, many don't go.
So
Alhamdulillah, I get bathroom for many. So see that bullock, any bullock you get like it 22. So person why you don't marry, you can give him and buy your sugar. Person why you never marry, I put like 3 people, 4 people for 1 room. That's why I can see the.
When I get any challenges for this community, when you think say both government and the people, corporate organization, now I get any problem.
So many people you can call here for money and food and clothes. Sometimes like this. Alhamdulillah, government I can bring something, but it will be some time. Like you pay say why you go call here for. Yeah.
Okay, so as you can, with what you can hear from him, they have lots of challenges.
Okay.
And the challenges ranges from stigmatization. They have lots of challenges, and the challenges ranges from stigmatization, from even community people. A lot of people don't want to associate themselves with them. And then let me just a clip of what you can experience here. This is the community. We have the association of the blind in this place. We have the association of the lepers also in this place. It is quite unfortunate that even their women deliver themselves. They deliver in this place. I don't think they have the knowledge that government can provide for them free health care for children and their mothers. So in this place, they need, with what I can see, they need help. They go out. When I was coming in,
and this is the community. According to Ijeoma, Esek told us there are 8 blocks and each block has 22 rooms, and this is all housing 10,000 people. So you can assume what living conditions is like there. Thank you so much, Ijeoma Esek, for bringing us that report. Ijeoma from Nigeria Info, and she has shown us right now what's going on at Okobaba Destitute camp.
You can go ahead to see the clips. It's still on our YouTube page and Facebook page as well. You can see for yourself